This week exposed how little people know about comic books, how they work. Storm sold out in comic shops, meaning that if you went there and you wanted to buy the comic, they would say they have no more left on the shelves for availability. We cannot give you any Storms left because we have ordered so few because we expected so few of them to sell back in August when we were putting in our final orders. That was the cutoff date. It was August 17th. All of your shops decided then not to get it. It's not because they're racist people, hateful people. They want to sell as many comics. They hate that on Wednesday they don't have any more left to give out because they were selling out of their comics in their shops on Wednesday. And this is not a case, this is a case-by-case basis, but it was such widespread news. I intended to go live yesterday to show you that. I put a StreamYard link in the invitation link to some other people, and we kind of went away from what I intended the video to be. No hate to them, and I appreciate them for being there, but this is what I wanted to do on that live stream. Is I wanted to open up Twitter, which since I posted this little poll. I asked, "Are you pleased that Storm number 1 has sold out in many stores this Wednesday?" Yes, because I'm ignorant. People actually voted for that. Yeah, I'm ignorant. They sold out on Wednesday. Yeah, that's awesome news. Selling out is always a nice thing to hear. And selling out on Wednesday means they sold out so fast. That's how successful the comic was. There are people who are going to go to those shops. Steve is going to go to the shop on Thursday. Oh, there's no comic? Oh, well. I was going to pick up Storm and I was going to become a regular for Storm. Now that there are no comics on Thursday, I just won't pick up issue 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. I had a little fear of missing out, FOMO. There was a little hype behind the book this week, and that's not going to be there by the time a second printing is done. And by the way, the second printings, they don't print as many as the first time it was printed. The first time they may have printed freaking 50,000, and that's my educated guess. They printed 50,000 issues of Storm number 1 overall. Marvel's going to be like, let's do another 10, let's do another 5 maybe, just to fulfill the stores that didn't get enough. No, Wednesday's too early is the correct answer to this poll, and only one of you guys voted for it. In the Twitter sphere, here's some of the noise that people have been saying. I just looked up the words like selling out and Storm. Dude said, Menina said, I went to my local shop 2 hours after it opened, got the last 2 copies of Storm number 1. They said they already have to order more copies for next week. And then gives congratulations. You really ate this, it shows. And that's nice, good to compliment the creators. But the reason why your store only or sold out and you could only get these 2 and you just made it in the nick of time, the reason, Menina, is because you didn't communicate to your store back in August that you wanted to collect this comic. And you did not make them do a pre-order that factored in your sale. There are 2 people that don't have a Storm comic book that we're going to. And partly it's because you did not voice this to your shop, Menina. It's not just Menina. It's also this one from 19 hours ago. So this was written on Saturday. Storm has been selling crazy everywhere, even leading to a second printing, and that has led a mob of racist incels to come out of the woodwork trying to tear her down because nothing threatens these sad little creatures more than seeing black women succeed. The direction of this is, well, racists are angry, therefore I'm happy. Not true. It's like when they do a race swap casting. Everyone who's racist is unhappy. Yahya Abdul-Mateen is playing the character Wonder Man Simon Williams. Well, I'm unhappy he's playing that character. I think it's a waste of representation. It's a waste of a casting that they will now use to say, oh, because this guy is playing that character, we, the studio, are doing enough black, and now they're not going to introduce an actual melanated character. Back to the point of this. Racist incels, they're all upset. They're all mad. Oh, guess I got to be happy. You don't take your cue from them. The failure of this the sellout, the inavailability, because it's a failure, it's the unavailability to get this comic book, reflects the poor effort we, the comic community, collectors, supporters, lovers of Storm, it reflects our failure, our inability to go to the shops and tell them, yo, I need that comic. I think I talked about that one up top. Storm number 1 is out now with the second printing coming. Make sure to pre-order the second issue, which drops 11/20 now. Keep the momentum going. Shops are selling out of issue 1. That's kind of my message right here. Except I don't think he's valuing what I'm valuing with God. They sold. There are no more comics on Wednesday. Now, if this happens on a Monday, oh, by Monday, all the shops don't have the comic anymore. I'd go, okay, yeah, they made it all the way till Monday. Every shop probably happy with that. The majority of their customers came in on Wednesday, and then on second wave on Thursday. By the time we got to Sunday, if they're looking at the shelves, and they can see, oh, there's only one issue left of Storm. I ordered pretty accurately. I'm happy. Now, if the last one goes out by Monday, I'll be pleased with that. Or if it takes 7 days or so for that last comic to go out, then I've satisfied the customer base here at the shop, and I've given the Storm comic more sales. And now, 10 months from now, it is less likely that this comic will be canceled. And let me assure you, it is very real of a threat that this comic book doesn't get an issue number 11. It's not pretend, it's real. Be afraid, be worried. Look at all of the other comic books with a dark-skinned character leading the way and ask why aren't they going past the second trade paperback, and realize, what we gotta do is ensure the most readership is in here. And that would even mean, I know this is going to break your brains, but not picking up Storm number 1 from your shop, or that extra issue of Storm number 1 from your shop, and letting other people get it. I know that breaks your brain. I know you think, what? Don't buy the comic? Well, if you didn't pre-order it and your comic wasn't reserved, then you're just only restricting another customer who could be here for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11, hopefully. If you're not reserving the comic 2 months in advance and telling your shop, factor me in for your sales, you are not helping the character for issue 1, 2, and 3. By the time we get to issue, let's say 7, your comic shop who's putting in his order or her order 2 months in advance, by the time issue 7 is being ordered, dude's gonna look over to his shelf and see, I know exactly how many Storms sold. I see issue 5 that's on my shelf right now because he's ordering 7. He'll look at issue 5 and he'll be like, oh, there's 3 extra issue number 5s on my shelf. I should probably put in an order of 3 less issues of Storm for when I'm ordering at number 7. Therefore, I will have sold out everything I want, and I want to sell out, not on Monday, but not on Wednesday. I don't want to sell out all my comics on Wednesday. But if I see that there are 3 comics left for issue number 5, and it's been a couple weeks and there's 3 that haven't been picked up yet, I'm ordering 3 too many. And so by the time he's putting in issue number 7, he'll have a general gauge of who the regulars are for that comic book. We don't have that for issue number 1 or even 2. So your shop right now is ordering in the dark. The orders are due right now, like today, like literally today right now as you're watching this. The ordering for issue number 3 is what they're thinking about. And they're looking at how much issue number 1 sold, and like, oh, well, maybe I need to order a couple more issue 3s than I would have, or the drop-off won't be as high. That's what they're thinking about right now. That's how sales work in the comic industry, and it shouldn't be that way. Back to this, because this is my point. My point was to look over somebody's tweets that are ignorant and not thinking. Mistress of the Elements, great name. Comic stores are already sold out and the website are crashing. This will go down in history as we effing speak. And Mistress of the Elements just doesn't get what I'm conveying, man. What I'm telling you guys. We shouldn't be happy that they sold out when on Friday at 3:14 p.m. is when the person wrote this tweet. Well, then there's someone who went to the store on Thursday and isn't getting their book. Or there's someone on Friday who isn't getting the book. We want them on board. We want this ongoing series to have the most possible. Cancellation is possible. So do you see this on the screen right now? Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing. Give me a second. Screen share, Microsoft Paint should be there. And then what's this? I don't like that. Hi. This was the first go around of Storm's solo series. Greg Pak was the writer. It was 2014. The first issue, they sold 47,000 units. The second issue was 25,000. I don't think that's right. Yeah, it's a little bit lower. The third issue, 22,000 units. 19,000 units. 17,000 units. By 6, they were at 17,000 units. Now that's a trade paperback right there. They collected all of these into a trade paperback. It was a trade paperback. Everything was great. And they said, do we continue printing Storm comic books? We're only selling 17,000 to our stores. The comic book company known as Marvel Comics decided to resume selling the Storm comic book. We go to 15,000. We go to 14,000. See, now what you guys don't know that I'll tell you that you didn't know is that when there's only 14,000 comic books being sold, that's called cancellation territory. Once it dip under 15,000, they cancel. So, they didn't cancel right here on issue number 8 because it's not a checkpoint. It's not you can't put these 2 into a trade paperback the same way I put those other 6 in. So they're like, all right, let's just wait it out. Let's just wait it out and see what happens. Maybe the sales will increase. They didn't. At 13,000, they didn't. And then they did another one at issue 10 for another 13,000. By 11, that was the final issue. They didn't even get 6. So you remember they collected the first 6 comic books in a trade paperback over here. That was a trade. The second time around, we'll just cut you off at 5. You're not making enough money. And the 12,000 comic book seller that this is right here, down here, that was the final single issue of Storm. And that was 10 years ago. And it's been 10 years since we had this chance again to show Marvel Comics that she is a lead character. I'm telling you what happened today, on this week on Wednesday. What happened was, if we go back to the very left, it's as if this happened. Ignore the number at the bottom, but it's as if this happened. There are a few thousand less comic readers who potentially could have been reading issue number 1, which will result in issue 2 having a lesser, issue 3 having less, issue 4 having less, 5 having less, 6 having less, 7 having less, 8 having less, 9 having less. And by the time we get to 10, maybe we're not even going to be at freaking 13,000 or 12,000 by the time we get to 11. Because the readership, because the people we lost on Wednesday, because it was it was under-ordered and under-predicted, those people won't be on board, and we will have a canceled comic book. I didn't tell you the cancellation. I did. For Black Panther, I did. I warned against it. I didn't warn it as heavily as I am for Storm. That is an inevitability. The low-selling comics, especially issue 10s, are such a destined outcome that it can't be celebrated or it can't be ignored. It's so vital that I talk about that every time I have a chance to talk to you about that and snap you out of the hooray issue number 1. Nobody can get it. Nobody could get issue 1 of Ironheart either. There was a second printing of that. They made it to 2 trade paperbacks and it was canceled. 9,000 sales. That's how many they sold for their final issue of Ironheart. The final issue of Storm back in 2014, 12,000 sales. I think we just saw. Yeah, it was 12,000, wasn't it? Yeah. The more you know, the more you know. I'll talk about this a lot more. Please leave your comments and questions, and then maybe I can answer those. The more questions, the more answers you'll get. This is unhappy news. This is not something we got to be happy for. We should be upset. We should be ashamed of ourselves that we didn't tell our shop, hey, yo, pre-order for me. We should be ashamed that we're not going to shop and saying, shop, I know you guys are going to be a little conservative with your estimates. You're probably only going to get 10 comics at our shop, Make sure you get a few more. Don't worry. I'll buy the extras if it's still on the stands a week later. I'll buy it. You should have been saying that. You should have been holding it down for your character. Maybe you don't even know to do that because you're ignorant. Now you're not. Your shop only ordered what they thought they were going to sell. And each of your shops all around the world, all of them under-ordered. most of them under ordered. There's some who maybe over ordered. I don't know. Everywhere is different, but there's been so many counts, so many reports that their shops under ordered, and on Wednesday they couldn't find it. People couldn't find a Storm issue number 1. Well, I wish those Storm readers and those shops all ordered an extra 5 for their store. Some stores are big, an extra 20 for their stores, because now those readers that we need on board by the time we get to issue 10 would have been higher. The Storm comic book will be canceled at issue number 10.